The week ends on a good note as joyous parents are reunited with their children as the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization students released by their abductors undergo medical evaluation and rejoin jubilant family members. The Senate and House of Representatives focus on security this week with assurances of a turning tide against outlaws. Also on political update today, a vote for unity and peace as government and the traditional institution present a common front against violence and other forms of criminality. We'll also be looking at efforts to batten down the hatches against insecurity, violence and poverty. I'm Fisayo Ogunfui. Welcome. Joy, congratulations and relief trailed the release of students of the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, Afaka, Kaduna this week. The students are expected to be formally reunited with their families after some medical evaluation.
They came in their numbers and visibly excited. Their shock and trauma since the abduction of the students for about 2 months now, they say is better imagined.
I feel so happy, so excited, and I thank God for everything.
The students are still receiving medical attention at a police facility. Commissioner of Police Kaduna State, Umar Muri, visited the students and confirmed they are stable.
You know, we have 20 females and 7 males. And I can tell you without mincing words that most of them are stable, but the doctors are still working on them. We are waiting for the doctors' evaluation on them. When that is done, then we'll get back to you and let you know how far we can go or how far we are doing.
The students have been in the facility since they are released by the abductors on Wednesday.
Still on security, the Senate has met with service chiefs and heads of security agencies where it received strategic information on Nigeria's current security situation.
The Senate had restricted its plenary to only Tuesdays and Wednesdays as part of its COVID-19 precautions. But the need for an urgent and constructive dialogue involving the legislators and heads of security agencies on Nigeria's security situation brought about the adjustment in timetable. Shortly after it reconvened for the special session, Leader of the Senate, Yahaya Abdullahi, moved the motion to usher in their guests. The Chief of Defense Staff, Service Chiefs, Directors General of the Department of State Service, National Intelligence Agency, Defense Intelligence Agency, and Inspector General of Police. The session dissolved into a closed door, with senators optimistic of a silver lining at the end of the engagement.
Because we know that you are doing your best with what you have at hand. But I want to assure you and everyone that the challenges we face are taken extremely seriously by the Parliament. Hardly a day passes without this Senate discussing one security incident or the other.
4 hours later, the executive session ends and President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, listed the areas discussed during the meeting.
On their plans of containing the present insecurity situation in the country. Thereafter, they answered questions from distinguished senators bordering on security, insurgency, terrorism, kidnapping, and other topical national security matters.
Work together with the executive and the heads of security agencies and ensure a long-lasting peace.
This is the first time these service chiefs will be meeting with the senators in the Hallowed Chamber.
The House of Representatives has again stressed the need for there to be a holistic resistance to the recurring acts of violence against security agents. The latest being Thursday's attack on a police station in Obosi Town, Idemili in Anambra State, during which 2 police men were killed.
Raising the issue as plenary on the matters of urgent public importance, Representative Obinna Chidoka says the hoodlums who carried out the attack on the police station also carted away arms and ammunition from its armory. The House commiserated with the family of the deceased policemen and urged the federal government to, in line with an earlier resolution of the House of Representatives, declare a state of emergency on security nationwide.
Address this menace of brigandage, threatening lives, properties, and peace in our communities and country as a whole.
Following a motion from Representative Anyeka Numana, the House resolved to investigate how the 2 billion naira Safe School Intervention Fund was utilized. In the course of plenary, House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila advised lawmakers to avoid making comments which expressly or impliedly are capable of causing misunderstanding, following a reference to statements credited to the House Minority Leader Ndudi Elumelu.
Honorable Ndudi Elumelu, while he was attending the NEC meeting of the PDP, issued a statement that during that executive session, some members of the APC approached him indicating an interest to join the PDP. That was false.
Ndudi is not here. But more importantly, there was no breach of privilege. He didn't say that SADA came to him. He said some members.
What the minority leader did there, sir, is a complete misrepresentation of what happened at the executive session.
Even though you have the freedom of expression, you have to be reasonable enough as a leader to measure your words and what you say publicly.
There is a push and pull between society's lawkeepers and outlaws. This is after a year in which most countries experienced huge economic downturn. In many climes, the focus is on how to get society back on an even keel. Nigeria is, however, confronting this challenge amidst other contending issues of insecurity in the form of banditry, kidnapping, and terrorism. Now, what are the strategies outside force that could lessen the albatross of insecurity? Awaji Nombek Abiante of Adoni Okpobo Nkoro Federal Constituency of Rivers State joins us today. Thank you very much for joining us. First, let's take in the fact that after 2 months of trauma, we got those students out, eventually, reuniting with their parents this week. What are your comments?
First of all, we give glory to God Almighty, because if He had not allowed it, whichever way, it wouldn't have happened. It has come and it has gone. They are back to society. I am excited just like the parents are, excited just like they also are. But beyond the excitement, the question should be, has the state not failed these kids? As leaders, have we not failed them? It is the responsibility of the state to so secure them. All that they did was to aspire to improve upon who they are, what they are, hoping to give back to society tomorrow, acquiring knowledge within that environment, which is normal. Some, we don't know what they have gone through. We don't know exactly what they went through for close to 2 months. The scares definitely will be there. Can everyone amongst them forgive society? Can they still have that allegiance to a society that failed them? Society must have failed them because somebody or some persons didn't do their jobs properly.
All right, we're still talking society. It's like I said at the initial part, we're talking of the push and the pull. On the threats of this is the fact that that is one problem, but it seems insecurity at the moment is hydra-headed. We also have the issues, of attack on police personnel. How do we begin to, make a sense of this as society and begin to push back and get perhaps to a reasonable extent, some semblance of, normality, as we see a situation where outlaws are getting, could we say, more courageous or more daring in their daredevil activities? How do we begin to, as a society, begin to push back, even from the unit in society, and then, of course, up to, the government level, since we are all Nigerians, both the leaders and the led?
First of all, I believe, and I have that buy-in, that security is everybody's business, first of all. But in admitting that, there are persons who we have made investments in relative to getting them engaged, training, equipping, encouraging, and handing over responsibilities onto them. These are expected to lead from the front. Every other Nigerian will be affected one way or another if we fail to synergize with this category of persons. And this is exactly what we're seeing. More importantly, is to ask ourselves, what is it that we are doing right and what are we not doing right? There has been so much clamor, and that is why sometimes, I don't know whether to classify it as selfishness or attempt to preserve what we should have ordinarily given out. So much clamor, every quarter, so much clamor, that we have to renegotiate the security architecture of this country. We have to look at it again. We have to bring something new. It is often said that you can't be doing the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result. How did we even get to where we are today? Before now, we had security at different and various strata. We had the federal, we had the regional, and we had the local police. These were scrapped because persons felt, there were challenges at that time, petitions were written, and the then government of Ironsi or so had to come up with the unitary system that gave all the powers to the center. We have tried this for several years and it has not worked, it has not helped us. Were we better when we had these things at different levels? The answer is yes, we were better. So what is it that has made it very, very impossible for leaders of today to come up and say, come, let us devolve this power. We can do it in 1 week. We can do it in 2 weeks. Let us devolve this power so that we can have security at the sub-national levels, officially and formally. We do have today. Because if you turn around here, you have this vigilante, you have that. We even have security at stratas lower than the sub-regional level. If you live in an estate in Abuja, of course you have security men that you have at your gate. If you live alone and you have a gate, you also have a security man at your gate. So we have already devolved these things to various strata, but we have not formalized it. The question we're asking is, why are we holding tightly onto this? Who is benefiting from it? We have always said, look, the number of policemen to the citizens in terms of the ratio is inadequate, and therefore it will be ineffective to have any result from there. It simply means that we should have to increase the numbers. As a parliament, we gave authorization to say, recruit 10,000 policemen at a time. Government has been increasing the numbers. Have we had commensurate results from all that investment? Even in terms of funding, over the years, there have been incremental funding to all segments. Have we had corresponding results in what we are doing? I don't think the answer is yes. It's not a clear yes. So what is left that we have not done? Can we try the alternative? The thing that we have not been able to do is to devolve this power. Every state will look at its peculiar challenges. I am from the riverine environment of River State. We are challenged. As I speak with you, over 15 of the communities in my local government area have been sacked. There are IDPs everywhere. I am being called upon every day, every moment. What are you doing? What can you do? We need this, we need relief materials. Is that what we have to go on doing everywhere? The same thing is happening in Benue, the same in Niger, the same in Zamfara, the same in Kaduna, the same in Katsina, the same in Borno. IDPs everywhere. So what is it that we have not done? We have not devolved this power. Can we do it? The answer is yes. So who is not allowing us to do it?
All right, let's situate it also properly in terms of, you've made so many, points, but let's start from even the issues of intelligence. Before things get into so big groups and large, number of outlaws and all that. Is there no, any way of getting, into proper intelligence in terms of, even from you seeing some movements on your street and alerting the right people before it becomes, something as hydra-headed and as difficult and poisonous as this?
Thank you very much. You and I know that at some point, Nigerians got weary of reporting crime. See something, you say something, but at some point, Nigerians became very, very weary. The reasons I will not be able to adduce here, but obviously it happened at some point. So it simply means that there was a disconnect somewhere that may have given a gap in terms of intelligence. Yes, we have the intelligence community among the security agencies that are nurtured, that are trained, that are so deployed. Like in every other department, in every other sector, the cry is that they are not enough, they are not adequate. Society would have been able to bridge that gap, but there was a time when trust became deficit.
An issue. All right, let's take one or two stories before we come closer home to some other issues on Political Update. Today, democracy and monarchy. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo used his courtesy visit to the Obi of our kingdom, His Royal Majesty Emmanuel Ezeif Zomo II in Delta State, to harp on the unity of the country, which he said should not be compromised.
Everywhere we go, we must re-emphasize that our country is great because it is a country of such diverse people, of such diverse talent, of such diverse values. And so when sometimes we hear those who are agitating and advocating that the country should break into little parts, we must say that we must caution them and let them understand that little countries all over the world are not stronger because they are small. As a matter of fact, the smallest countries in our part of the world have experienced the greatest conflict.
On the political side, 3 governors of the People's Democratic Party were in Calabar earlier this week to engage Governor Ben Ayade and other stakeholders in resolving some disagreements arising from previous party congresses in that state.
PDP in Cross River State has been divided, with some party members loyal to the governor, while others to National Assembly members. This is occasioned by alleged disagreements at the congresses, leading to 2 separate lists of elected officials. Though the scenario went to the courts, the mandate given now to the governors by the PDP Governors Forum, sanctioned by the National Working Committee, is to bring an amicable solution to all parties involved.
We have engaged with the stakeholders. The feelers we have is that by the grace of God, we shall soon resolve this issue, and the party will come back as one united family. Every one of them is interested in ensuring that we restore normalcy, we do the right thing and ensure that the family is brought back together and work together for the common interest of the people of Cross River State.
The governors also visited the state chicken processing factory and the noodles factory, also known as Kisimi.
I'm not sure we have something like this in the country at the moment.
And is industrializing Cross River and Nigeria generally, and that's the way to go. Creating jobs and creating the economy and diversifying the economy is very key and fundamental.
Beautiful, adding value to the economy. God bless you.
It is expected that the visit will create a new peaceful atmosphere for the party in the state.
All right, you're still watching Political Update on the Nigerian Television Authority, and Honorable Awajinon Beka Bante of Adoni Okpobo Nkoro Federal Constituency is right here with us. You are a member of the House Committee on Agric Production, Science and Technology and all that. And a lot of people have identified, especially agriculture and science and technology, as ways of, perhaps increasing in leaps and bounds availability of job, in the country, which at least to an extent will create work for idle hands and, in one way or the other, remove, hands on the gun to hands on the plow. Looking at that, have you been able to engage some of these research institutes and all that in terms of perhaps fast-tracking the processes of getting the town and gown to have some handshake, and at the same time, their commercializable materials into the market to begin to look at fast-tracking, situations where we have more job opportunities for our youths?
Yeah, thank you very much. The critical problem that we have, not just in Nigeria, but across several countries, West Africa, even in the entire African continent, is the effective, the efficient management of our resource, adding value to what we have. That has been the critical problem. In most countries in this country, in the African continent, we find out that we have so much resources, we don't even understand what we have. We can't even add value, and we spend so much getting them in as finished materials, thereby exporting jobs. In Nigeria, we have the crude oil. We import finished products, petroleum products, PMS, import AGO and all that. In some areas, they have gold. They sell it as raw gold. Where are the refineries in Africa? They are refined outside Africa, and Africans and other nationals will bring them in. There are areas that have diamond. Where is it processed? It's not processed here. It's not processed in Africa. Countries that have them...
Well, perhaps in South Africa, a little.
What is the intake or the offtake of all that is taken from Africa? Very, very minimal. We have cocoa, but you and I know that the love for chocolate is everywhere, and we import these things as chocolate. I can go on and on and on and on. Simply put, we have not utilized our resources to our benefit as Nigerians. We are much more comfortable with getting them finished. And to make matters worse, the world has been reduced to your mobile phone. You can order anything from anywhere and it will be delivered to you. I don't want to think and believe that we have lost that opportunity. If we have to do a catch-up, I don't know how many people understand the pace at which we have to go to do that catch-up. I don't know how many people understand. There are research institutes here and there on specifics. How are they funded? Who has placed the key performance indicators? Have we monitored the KPIs effectively? Are we matching the expected to the allocations that we have been given over the years? I give you an instance. I was privileged to look at the budget of one of the agencies, and a particular line of production which they had wanted to perfect, complete, and deploy to commercial use has to do with the production of glue, of gum, which has its utility in
a few short minutes. I'm enjoying the discussion in a few short minutes because we don't have too much time.
Which has usage in the leather industry, because using to produce both shoes, the bags, in the upholstery industry, in the carpentry and joinery industry, because you need them. The total cost at the time it was mooted, the idea came. The total cost was something in the order of probably 1 billion naira. And over the years, you allocate 10 million naira to a project of that caliber. Is it 10 million? Is it to clear the bush, to clear the land? When you allocate 10 million this year, they clear the portion. Nothing else happens. By next year, you allocate another 10 million, they clear the portion. So when are they going to even take off to the point that they would have that component that will enable us to stop the importation of glue?
Let me just glue you on that point, and thank you so much for coming on the program, and perhaps we will continue this conversation. So many things to tap from your wealth of experience. Thank you very much for being a part of our political update today. That's, I'm afraid that's about all we can take. Many thanks to Honorable for coming, Awaji Nombek of Abiante, Adoni Opobo, Nkoro Federal Constituency for coming on the program. For you for watching NTA, where we give you the very best of news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Have a lovely weekend.